We're live. Good evening and welcome. Chris Upton in the house. Well, what a bloody week. What a week. Honestly. I don't know where we start. Should we not bother with dog training? Should we just try and sort the world out while we're all here? As you can see, I'm wearing my black and white top. Black Lives Matter, but a bit of white in there as well. Hey, no political shit on here. Good evening all. Pleasure to meet the other weekend. Thanks for the hospitality and the coffee. Oh my God. Christopher and Simon Spruce meeting up. There's a lockdown. Or are you in that bubble, you two? You're in that bubble. Can't say bubble, can we? Not where I come from. Anyway, let's cut out the racist crap before I get accused of something else. Okay, so let's go back to the top, shall we? Let's go back to dog training, Susan said. She's looking at me. She says, stop listening to Jim Davidson. First in tonight, Karen Evans. Oh, they're having a man chat, these two. They're having a man chat, so there's nothing. Jesus Christ. Honestly, they're having a relationship, this lot. I'm feeling jealous. Good evening, Chris Wheelhouse. At least someone. Oh, hello, Clifford Markland. Oh, good evening, or Phil Watkins. We're back onto normality. Sandra Dinning, good evening all. So, not the tables callers, good evening. Michael McLaughlin, Stephen, it's all about 150 yards, laugh out loud. There you go. Don't know what that's about, but never mind. Okay, so me and Sue are going to sit down on the settee and cuddle. It's our 31st wedding anniversary. I mean, we were sinners before that. We were. I was going to say we were banging each other, but that's not right, is it? What were we doing before that? We were seeing each other. So how many years, darling?
31.
31. She's gone quiet in the corner. 31 years, eh? How the freaking hell, that woman deserves a medal, doesn't she? She bought me a nice bottle of cognac and a nice card. She's sweet to me. She is. She's good to me. Congratulations, poor Sue. Yeah. So, thank you, Karen. Thank you. What about me? I could have killed someone and got less time. Less sentence. So there you go. 31 years and we're still together. I love that woman so much. Thank you very much. And when I met her, I never even looked at the pedigree. I just took a chance. I just obviously a good judge of character. Oh, she's on there. Look, Sue's freaking smiling. Look, she's just sent you a message, everyone. Yeah, so how many years have we been together, Sue?
How many years we've been together?
Yeah, that's when we married. How many years have we been together?
30.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
33.
33 years. Jesus Christ, eh? 33 years. Anyway, let's get back to dog training, for Christ's sake. It's bringing back too many memories. Do you know what? I don't know where the time's gone. I don't know where the time has gone. I look at myself, I'm getting older. I look at Sue, she's getting older. Careful. But I love her more today than I loved her when I first met her. Now, you're a very lucky person if you can say that about your partner. So, that's because I didn't love her when I met her. Shut up. Anyway, whiskey's disappearing. 33 year sentence. Some sentences. That's it. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. Not been doing too many videos. Not been answering too many questions. Why? Because I've been so busy with different jobs, different dogs. I just had to get on with it. The weather changed. It's been fantastic for training. It's been fantastic for doing works. It was just been too hot. I've been cutting grass. I've been cutting down trees, putting into the rabbit pen, building up my rabbit pen, getting it ready for training the dogs in the rabbit pen, cut down the nettles. It's just been non-stop. And as you can see, it looks like I've been a rapist. Look, see this here? Look, see all this? Honestly, working man's hands. Look, working man's hands. Honestly, both arms are the same. It just shows when you get into it, innit? And you start cutting back, and this time of year, stuff is growing so quick. But we got to get all that ready. Hopefully, for people who want to come and use the place. Have you ever had a young dog that won't chase a runner? I've had young dogs that are not interested in chasing stuff in the pen. Yeah. But once you put the drive into them, especially if you've got a pen and you allow that to come out of them, some dogs will take, 10, 15 chases before they've got a bit of driving and desire. Other dogs, just one chase. It'll be interesting to see Dougie in the next week. Excuse me, next week or so in the rabbit pen. We'll see if he wants to point or whether he wants to chase. He won't catch the rabbit, hopefully. I don't think he's quick enough. Right, okay. How long did it take you to train Sue? Untrainable, mate. A bit like a terrier. Right? You can't train terriers, you just got to live with them. And so that's a good question, that. I could have got into that in a real deep way, but no, we're not going to. Untrainable, trust me. You just don't give in, but you'll never win. You'll never win. And like it says in Camelot, no, I won't go there.
Never understand what a woman's thinking because she doesn't do it very often.
Hear what she just said? Never try and understand what a woman is thinking because they don't do it very often.
No, that's because we're so deep.
They're deep, aren't they, Sandra? Honestly, they're deep, aren't you? You just play us. 1 minute we can come in and say one thing and we get away with it. Next minute it's upset you. We can't win, can we? If we pay you attention, we're a sex pest. If we don't pay attention, we don't love you. You freaking can't win, can we? We can't win, eh? We can't win. So we talk about psychology tonight, everyone, instead of freaking dog training. I keep asking you, is the tattoo on your forearm, is it a spaniel? Don't worry about that one. The one on my penis is worse. The one on my penis says...
Anaconda.
No, it doesn't. She says, see how she tried to ruin that joke. Honestly, Morecambe and Wise, you don't need her in the background, do you? When I got this spaniel done on here. Where is it? It's disappeared. It's on this one, isn't it? It's on here. That's a spaniel, look. A Springer Spaniel. When I got that one done, my daughter came in with me and she was laughing like crazy because she said, Dad, I don't know how you're doing that. You're not had any injection and you're just kicking through the pain. Well, it wasn't too bad at all. And there's no way I was going to show her that it bothered me. So anyway, I went back the following week and said, okay, can you put a tattoo on my penis? I'm so pleased with this dog here. I said, can you put a tattoo on my penis? And the tattoo artist says, yeah, what do you want? You want to look through the books? I said, no, I've worked out what I want. I want Anaconda written all the way down my penis. When I woke up, I couldn't believe it. He said, I'm sorry. He said, we could only fit on Anna. Stop it, you lot. Honestly, was there any laughing there or not? Or was it a waste of time? Eh? It's a bit like me... Anybody on my Facebook? Anyone on my Facebook? Did you see the latest thing I put up about Rocky Balboa, the statue of Rocky Balboa, and they want to take it down because he beat up 3 black men and a Soviet Russian guy, didn't he? Eh? They're going to rip his statue down. Rocky. Honestly, the world's gone freaking mad. My missus can't stop laughing. Denver Skinner. It's all right. I used to listen to Jim Davidson and all the racist comics. They're not racist in their days. It was like our friends when we went to school with them. I mean, let's get real. This is getting ridiculous, everyone. I mean, you must be watching it. We can't not talk about it. It's getting ridiculous. Ripping down statues. I mean, Nelson Mandela was a nasty criminal when he was fighting his cause. You know, it's crazy. You're going to rip that statue down. We all know Churchill, was a warmonger, but by God, he stood up and fought for us to why we're Great Britain. Else we would be Nazi Britain, wouldn't we? Can you say Nazi these days with the Germans? It's ridiculous. I mean, the country's becoming a freaking joke. People are coming so triggered, and it's all down to what we call snowflakes, what I've always talked about. And yes, I'm not the most popular person out there, but I'm not interested in being the most popular person. I speak my mind. I say it the way it is. I'm fed up with these politicians that just are scared to freaking say what they feel. You know, I'm not racist in any way. I've got friends from all ethnic backgrounds. You know, if you've got a decent heart and you're a decent person, you're okay in my eyes. You know, all this bloody religion and all this bloody hatred and this Black Lives Matter. Honestly, it's the same as the dog training world, isn't it? You know, it's the positive only people who want to attack me, and because I fight back, then I'm a bully. I'm having to go at them. You never ever see me on any of their forums kicking off, looking for a bitch fight, and yet they try and come into my world, or when I let them into my world because they're struggling like crazy and they can't train these dogs without discipline, and they're beginning to realize that discipline works. Discipline works in all formats of life. You know, when I was a young lad and we used to drive around Chesterfield. Chesterfield was a mining area in Derby. We used to drive around there with my black mate Lance, right, a good mate of mine. And do you know what? We get stopped by the police just because he's black and he's in a car driving around. Right, simple as that. They used to go out of their way and stop him, right? But did he used to get out and kick off? No, because that way you're going to get hammered. You just have to stand there and take it. But you don't have to take abuse, but you don't tend to get abuse unless you give abuse. Yes, they'll pull you over. But you know, it's terrible. You know, I've got friends from the rough area I came from, and they've done life and they've done 10 years. But you have to distance yourself from that lifestyle, else you get involved in that lifestyle. And do you know what? Coming down to Cornwall, away from that lifestyle, and getting on with training dogs and making a life for yourself changed my life. And that woman in the corner over there, the little quiet one, Secret Sue, she changed my life because she's got such beautiful principles. She made me realize that you can't live in the past. You've got to live it moving forward. So she made me a better person, and I'll always be thankful for that. She made me a more tolerant person, and yet I'm opinionated. I speak my mind.
No.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? When you give a woman freedom, how they come back at you and stab you every freaking time they can get. See? Fuck them. Apparently London is going to get surprised this Saturday. Do you know what, Barry? I wouldn't be surprised. But do you know what? That's not going to do the cause any good. But I totally understand. I totally understand that a lot of us of my similar age are getting very, very frustrated about this, because we went to school with mixed race kids, and yes, there was chit chat, there was banter, but it wasn't nasty racial shit, because we all lived together. I come down here to Cornwall, and there's a lot more racist comments I hear from people who don't live with mixed race. And at the end of the day, I am not anti anybody, and it's the same with our local Indian. They are absolutely lovely people, lovely, genuine people. They're not got a chip on their shoulder. They come here, they work bloody hard, and we support them. And you know, it's so sad because they live in a small sleepy town, we call it, and they get racist shit all the time from idiots, from hillbillies, we call them hillbillies, right? People from this area who don't know anything about mixed race and living with each other and having harmony. And that's the problem. And at the end of the day, I don't want to go on and on about this, but it's bothered me all week. And if you see my Facebook, I have been putting stuff up. I've been putting stuff up because I feel that we need to stand up and say, yes, Black Lives Matter, but white lives matter, yellow lives matter, brown lives matter, anybody. And so it's really important. It's the same with dog training. We can agree to disagree on certain things, but you know, they're talking about taking down Sir Francis Drake statues in Tavistock that's been up there. When I was a little kid, my granddad, when I come from the Midlands, don't forget, he took me to Tavistock and he showed me that statue, and he told me about that statue when I was a little kid. And then he took me up on the moors and he showed me how they diverted the water to come all the way down off the moors in the troughs, granite troughs they built all the way down, and how they brought it into Plymouth for the water. and it just showed you. And then when you go to is it Buckfast Lee, Sue? Not Buckfast Lee. No, it's not Buckfast Lee. It's Monica McCall. When you go to his place, I find history interesting. I love history. History to me is one of the most important things that I enjoyed at school. I wasn't very good at school, but I loved history. I loved the fact of learning history. And we're taking that away. We're going to throw all that away. We learn by history. We can't just move forward and forget the past. We've got to live and understand the past. But what we've got to do, we've definitely become a more tolerant society. But I'm sorry for going on, everyone, but I just think, you know, a poor black man, a poor white man, poor Asian, what's the difference? They're poor. Exactly, Michael. Exactly. It's the same as the Irish, the English, the Welsh, and the Scottish. We take the piss out of each other. Are we real racists? No. But you can do it with a mate, can't you? But you can't do it with a person you don't know. Why? Because they're going to take offense by it. Exactly. You know, this is what I'm on about. I started, Robert Jeffrey, let's go back to dog training, shall we? I just want to rant here.
A few that you missed.
Sorry, she's telling me now, a few I missed. I started using rabbit skin last week. My dog retrieves, it's not a problem. But now I throw ball and he will run out, but won't bring the ball back. Should I stop using the dummy or should I start using the ball? Well, I'll read that again because I don't quite understand it. I started using a rabbit skin last week. My dog retrieves it, no problem. Well, then stop doing it then if the dog's retrieving it, Robert, because then you're not causing a problem. But now, when I throw out a ball, you run out, but it won't bring it back. Should I stop using the dummy? Yes, because the rabbit skin's got higher value than the ball then, hasn't it? Yeah. So all you're interested in, if the dog retrieves the rabbit skin, you'll know he'll carry fur, so don't worry about it. Go back to the ball. Stop the rabbit skin because it's higher value. It's higher value. It's like saying he has an ice cream and he loves the ice cream, but he won't eat an ice lolly. You know, simple as that. Okay, starts from 2008. Like Noakes question. Now, come on, then let's go back to there because I just want to go on with dog training. I've had my rant. Come on then, Susan. No, I can't.
Hi there.
Go on then, read it out loud.
Do you use the same whistle for your dogs or different whistles for different dogs?
No, I use the same whistle for every dog I train, Luke. I use a 210.5, a 210.5, 211.5. I don't know what I use. That's my whistle. You see what I mean? You see what I mean, everyone?
Brain's gone.
My brain is cooked completely. I use a 210.5. Yeah, 210.5. Some people use a 211.5. It's slightly different pitch. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. When I train a dog and I send it back to the customer can use what whistle they want. It's the tone of the whistle you blow. Dog soon gets used to it. It doesn't make much difference. I don't like the actual silent whistles, the metal ones. They chip your teeth. I've chipped a few teeth over the years. People put a bit of plastic on the end, but they hang out. And I just like the normal one, what I used, 210.5. That's what I use. I can't even see that question, so I'm just going blind here with all these questions.
Another one just below it, Michael McLaughlin. How many hours a week would you train a 13-month-old average?
How many hours a week
would you train a 13-month-old?
Well, it depends how. What's his name?
Michael McLaughlin.
Michael McLaughlin. That's all right. I just seen another question from Michael. Good evening, all. That's all. I just seen that.
That's 2008 as well.
I got no times on here.
No, I can do that.
No, I'm looking at how many times. Here we go. How many hours a week would you train a 13-month-old average? Well, let's just take one of my dogs. I might train him 2 times a week, 3 times a week. I might train him 4 times a week. It depends what I'm doing. If I'm building a memory, something I want the dog to retain, then I'll do it day in, day out. And I'll do it 10 minutes. May do it 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon. I may do it 20 minutes and 20 minutes the following day. As soon as the dog starts to get bored with it, then the training stops. As simple as that. If your dog's enjoying it and the dog's doing it and the dog's understanding it and you're getting progress, carry on. But if you you can overcook a dog's brain the same as you can overcook a human's brain. You can give them too much information. So it all depends what you're doing at that stage and what stage that dog is. So that's what I would say.
6 off, Adam Hudson until 5.
How long did it take you to train Sue? You've done that one, Sue?
No, not that one. It's fit down. Have you ever had a young dog that won't chase a runner?
Yeah, we've done that one earlier, Sue, when you weren't listening. Yeah.
Right, I'm on. There's another one.
Honestly, she's not listening in the background. See what I mean? They can't multitask.
Okay, keep down. Stephen Logan. Have you done that one?
Okay, I'm going further down. Hang on, it says something up here about shooting times, isn't it? No. I can tell you, I'm so tired. Stephen Logan. No.
How do you define headstrong? I've seen independent dogs.
Hang on. I got it. Find it. Thank you. Stephen Logan. Ha! Aha. Sounds like what's his name? Aha. How do you define headstrong? I've seen independent dogs, but that's a training error, and respond to correction quickly. Well, I would say, for instance, your fine example for a headstrong dog is Rafa. There's so many things about Rafa that he does that other dogs don't do. Other dogs don't question training. Rafa questions everything. Mm-hmm. And that is a headstrong dog. Rafa jumps up, goes out in the field, pushes boundaries, is behaving so much better. He's absolutely fantastic. He's a joy to have. But he will push boundaries if you allow it. And I don't want him running through the long grass with the grass seed. So I've cut loads of grass and I'm keeping them out the long grass because I don't want grass seed problems this time of year. It's horrible. Now, I can't cut a whole field because I don't own the whole field, and it's now been sold for housing, and we're waiting to see what happens in the back field. So luckily, I've been able to buy my rabbit pen, and so I can either turn the rabbit pen into an exercise area. They can go out and have a crap and a run around before we go out and train. And we'll have to go off the premises to train. And that's a real shame because the field for the last 10 years has been a life send. It's not my field, but the owner has let me use it, understanding that I've got dogs. And he's let me use it, let me rent the rabbit pen off him. So what I've done is I've cut the top quarter of the field, and I've had to do it with a strimmer because my farming mates who would come in normally and just cut it with a tractor haven't got permission to come in because it's been sold. So we're just cut the top end where we've got permission to actually train the dogs until we see the new owner. And when he's going to start building, we don't know what's going to happen because of the situation. He was supposed to start this month. If he starts this month and they get all the contractors in and they start doing drainage and groundwork, he could be in there for a year before he starts building. But then that puts me in a situation. So at the end of the day, going back to that question about defining a headstrong dog, Rafa pushes boundaries and he wants to go further where he used to go further down through the field because it was easy to run through and there was no grass seeds. I don't want them running through the grass seeds, so now I'm conditioning them to stay where I want them, where I've got the grass. So when we come back in, all the other dogs go into the same area. 3 of them will go into a kennel that's outside. 4 of them, the bitches, will go in one side of the dog trailer. The 2 dogs, Rafa and another young dog he's with in the kennel, will go into the other side. Wiz goes in his own kennel, his own outside kennel. So we don't put them back in the kennels. Well, we either clean the kennels or we give them time away from the kennels. I like to mix it up for them because I just feel that a dog in a kennel all the time just is not fair. So we mix it up. So they sit out in the sun. Some go out in the backyard. Some come out in the front. Rafa, without fail, jumps into the back of the car, spins round and says, "Stroke me." And I don't stroke him. Why don't I stroke him? Because he's a headstrong little bastard and he's demanding. And he's saying, "Stroke me." I'll decide when I stroke him, not Rafa. Any other dog, you would stroke because they're not headstrong. And there's a fine example of a dog. You can't say he's doing it because he loves you. He's doing it because he wants you to groom him. He wants you to be his bitch. As simple as that, everyone. And so Yes, I do stroke him sometimes, but I decide when to stroke him, not him shoving himself into my face and going, stroke me. Because he's demanding. He's headstrong. He pushes boundaries. And that's the difference between, how do you define a headstrong dog? I've seen independent dogs that a training error, yeah, you're right, and respond to correction quickly. Rafa responds to correction quickly. But do I want to knock that out of him? No. But I don't pamper to his whims. And there's the difference, Stephen. There's the difference between knowing how to read a dog, where Wiz, when he jumps up to me, he's saying, hello, Dad. I love you. He's not doing it because he wants to dominate me. What Rafa's doing, he's trying to dominate me. Same as that woman in the corner. Honestly, you've got to learn to read your partners. You've got to work as a team. Anyway, we're back to dog training at least, aren't we?
Few one down. Liam Henderson. Can I use get out?
I like that what you said there, Michael McLaren. A poor black man, a poor white man, and a poor Asian. What's the difference? They're all poor. You're dead right. That is so simple and yet so true. I come from an area where it was so poor and so rough. Posh white people feared to tread because they thought it was the ghetto. Trust me, a kid growing up in that rough area, they never abused a young white kid walking up through that black area. They never done that. It's changed. Life's changed. It's a sad, sad world. Anyway, come back to dog training, aren't we? I started using rabbit skin last week. Oh, I've done that one.
4 down, 3 down.
So what, Stephen Logan? Hello, Liz. How are you doing? All right.
Liam Henderson.
Yes, Rafa wants you to be his bitch. You know, Liz, don't you? He tried it on with you straight away because he's a clever little bastard. And some dogs are. Some dogs. But guess what? We don't knock that out of the dog. It's in the dog. It's the same as the personality of someone you like, and you go, he's a man's man. Why do you want him to be different? He's a man's man, right? And some people aren't. Some people got to ask the wife if they can go down the pub, and they got to ask the wife if they can buy a dog, and they got to ask the wife. And some people would say, well, it's a joint decision. Surely you should ask the wife. But I've come back with many a thing over the years and said, Sue, guess what I've got? No, not the clap. Stop it. I was joking, that was. But what I'm saying is, I do things off the spur of the moment. I come back and say, I bought a boat, Sue. Bloody hell, not another one. Right? She never gets shitty with me. But am I lucky? She didn't go, you didn't freaking ask me if you could buy a boat. You know what I'm saying, everyone? It's like, you got to learn to live and let live, don't you?
Hey, I always say life's too short. Enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, life's too short. Enjoy it where you can.
Your life's made of it.
Pen, your comment about not letting anyone sleep in your bed upset me today. It really upset me. What a waste of a good bed, Pen. I made the mistake. I took the dummy off him. I petted him because he's so cute, and then he started dropping it. Exactly. Pushing you. Exactly, Ben. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Until these people work with these dogs and they see how different their characters are, and some are just followers and some are leaders, and it's the skill is mastering them, mastering each individual dog. I mean, that Dougie, he's honestly, I think he freaking thinks he's human. He goes, "Woo!" When I freaking go in the kennel sometimes now because he wants to come out with me. Well, that's what I want. I want him to want to be with me. I'm building that. And you could say, well, by putting him away in the kennel, he's going to get suppressed and not want to come out. No, it's got the opposite effect. I want to be with you. It's like freaking Scooby-Doo. It's like I'm Shaggy. Okay, Scooby. Shut up. Haley is just like Sue. We are blessed, Chris. Oh, you're a lucky boy then if she's just like Sue. She must be good in as well then. Stop it.
Too
Too much information, Susan said. Honestly,
Speak for others.
can't speak for others. You have to speak for yourself.
Yeah. Right. Can we get back to Liam Henderson's question?
Gavin Lynch, hi Chris. My dog is now 7 months old. When should I put the stop on him? He is a very clever dog. Well, good question, Gavin. Technically, if he's a very clever dog and you're using a tennis racket the way I show you, and this is the problem with the 5,500 videos that they all fucking disappeared, you could know by now he should be parking his arse without being told, wanting to play the game if he's a clever dog. Then you haven't forced it, but you know the dog knows what you want. Now you can start introducing the sit as he parks his arse automatically, and then you can move straight on to putting the sit on the dog. I Sue, hope you're keeping sane. How dare you, Dizzy Lizzie? What happened to Daniel Quinn? Do you know what? Funny enough, Paul Crocker, we were only saying that the other day. He's not contacted me at all. And to be honest with you, perhaps he's realised that dog training is a lot harder than you think. But no, I haven't heard from Daniel for weeks. And I only looked up at his Facebook and saw that he was on there doing DJing and that, and perhaps he's had a second thoughts about it all. I don't blame him. I understand completely. But he's not come back to me and said nothing. I saw the headstrong comment on your Facebook page and expected more discussion. It's really interesting when a dog pushes you all the time. Hey? I saw the headstrong comment on your Facebook page and expected more discussion. Well, we can discuss all night, Stephen Logan, if you really want to. What would you like to discuss?
Yeah, but it's probably on Facebook he means, isn't it? Saw the headstrong comment on your Facebook page.
I don't know what you mean, Stephen. I write so much, unfortunately, mate. I write so much with that. My head spins sometimes with writing stuff, and sometimes I put stuff up that I wrote 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I've come to the conclusion, am I wasting my time dog training when people come back to me and say to me, right, I've watched all your videos and my dog's not coming back when told, what do I do? I think, Jesus Christ, man, how many freaking hours have I spent putting up videos showing people? It's simple as that. And then I get people coming in going, what you did to that dog, you should never be allowed dogs in your life because you're so cruel. Doing what with the dog? I was showing you a dog that's been corrected and the correction works. And we talk about correction. I listened to a live feed yesterday with Jonas Black, and he was on Facebook and he was giving a lot of information out, and he was a very charismatic character, and he fell out with a dog trainer and there was a bit of a bitch fight and it went on and on. I tried to iron it out, and it's not my place to iron it out, and I tried to give advice, don't go down that road, you know, and it wasn't perhaps my place to say if people got to handle how they want to handle. But going back to that, at the end of the day, I thought the live feed was quite interesting with some of the things they said, but other parts of it I just thought were way out. And yet, as soon as I say the bits that were way out, I've offended someone. As soon as I say the bits that I agree 100% with, and I'd offend the other person. And so what do I do? Do I just get on with my life and not mention anybody? It's the same as Penny on here. She's friends with people that I'm friends with, and she's friends with people that are not friends with those people they're friends with. And it just gets freaking catty if you're not careful. And sometimes just keep out of it. Just keep out of it. We've got 60 people watching and 17 likes. Do you see what I mean? See how demoralizing that is with only 17 likes? I mean, I'm going to sit down tonight and I get so depressed with only 17 likes. I'm going to think you all hate me. I've got 761 people watching me, but I'm going to think you all hate me because I said I think I'm Shaggy. Shaggy was a lot thinner than me. You need to lose some weight. Andy said, so if you want to be Shaggy, he's a bastard, isn't it? But mates can say that, see? Mates can say that. You bastard, honestly. I tell you, I'm not going to sleep tonight thinking about that, you bastard, Andy. I mean, look, everyone, I'm losing weight. Look. See that? I'm losing weight. How dare you? Hey, some people can't help being fat, you bastard. Is it because I'm fat? Can you say that? Sorry. Is it because I'm fat? Anybody comes from the Midlands will understand that joke. Anyone from down south won't freaking even understand it. Okay. Social media is toxic. I've stopped watching other videos from trainers and just crack on. Thank you so much, dog photographer, because that's exactly what it's doing. It's frying my freaking brain. It's frying my brain because I tried to bring the dog training world together and educate and show that discipline works. And that's all I've tried to do. And yet, when people attack me and I freaking fire back, then I'm a bully. You know, I don't know where to get off. I mean, I'm a sexist. I love women. I love women. Give me a good body to look at. I've missed going out cruising. Me and Sue go out for a day out. Honestly, I go, shall we go for a spin? Yeah, come on, let's go for a spin. I love it. I drive down the road looking out the window at all the women because we live in an area where everyone's on the beach or everyone's holidaying and they got the skimpiest stuff on. I go, oh, look at her. She's beautiful. You couldn't handle her at your age, Sue says to me. Because we've got a relationship that we trust each other. It don't mean that you try it on with customers and try and be that sort of smoothie, that false person. What you see is what you get. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Don't watch it. Simple as that. Lose it. Lose it, you cheeky bastard. You cheeky bastard, Kieran Evans. Lose it. Freaking lose it, you skinny little bastard. Honestly, talk about a man. You have no wrinkles. Be happy with that. Thank you very much. We only said that the other day. I looked at one of our lads and he's got wrinkles all over his head and he's skinny. And perhaps skinny people have... I can't even make freaking lines on my head because you're too fat, you bastard. Stop it, you lot. Is it have a go at Chris tonight? Is it have a go at Chris tonight? I don't give a shit, you lot. Honestly. Richard Gold, did you read the proposal being put forward for the field trial Facebook group to the KC? And if no, what were your first thoughts? Richard, I've been banned. Richard Gold, I've been banned. I'm too outspoken. They don't like me. I'm that brick, that big fat freaking brick that they throw into the pond when they freaking really need some freaking help. But they just want to flick pebbles. You just skim pebbles across the freaking pond. Because it's like, I want a bitch, but I don't want to bitch too much because no one might not like me. Fucking say it the way it is, for Christ's sake. He's on a roll tonight, Chris is. Honestly, get me some more wine. Give me some more wine, Weiss. Get me some more ice wine. Honestly, you lot. I mean, 21 likes. Honestly, I'm funnier than Jim freaking Davison. I've just been listening to him.
What time did you start drinking, for God's sake?
Thank you, darling. She's good to me, isn't she? She's going
to still got a couple of questions to it.
She's going to fetch me ice, look. Ice, baby. Do you know what? I loved Tupac. I loved some of his lyrics. And yet, he was a nasty little bastard. And yet, some of the stuff he said about not beating women and not abusing women, and some of the stuff he said, I agree with that guy so much. Julian Lees, Chris, do you teach your dogs the command to look up? Last season, my Springer retrieved a bird that was caught up in brambles, rhododendrons, etc. that other more students missed. Do I teach my dogs to look up? I'll teach my dogs to watch the birds out in front. Yeah, I definitely do, Julian. Yeah. How are you, Julian? Nice. That's Julian Lees. Julian does the squirrel skins for us, everybody. So say good evening. Say bollocks to Julian Lees. You've seen what happened with the squirrel skins. Just say bollocks to Julian. He's a superstar. And do you know what? He's done that off his own back over all these years, and he's famous. He's famous. But yeah, you do teach dogs to look up because you want the marking ability, and marking ability is a really important part. If you're only teaching pet dogs, does marking ability matter? No, it doesn't. Like Sean Remit, hi Chris, have you got a timescale when you can take bookings again? Looking forward to bringing Nala down when it's safe to do so. Sean, at the moment, I'm doing days and I'm doing hourly rates, but I'm not doing staying in the caravan, unfortunately. I'm not doing it. It's not supposed to be doing it, so I'm not doing it. As simple as that. Just imagine you came down here and I'd let somebody use the caravan, especially like someone like Dizziness. Penny, right? And she'd had the caravan the night before and she's got the kennel cough, and then you end up having kennel cough. Or is it virus, right? You'd never forgive Dizzy Lizzie, would you, if she gave you kennel cough? So at the moment, Sean, until you, and have you seen this latest thing about Boris, where you can have a bubble now? Dizzy Lizzie's laughing. She can have a bubble. She can get somebody in her bubble now because she lives on her own. Well, she actually doesn't. She lives with her mother. So you've got to be careful there, because in your bubble, if you live on your own, you can have somebody else in your bubble. I wouldn't want anyone in my bubble at the moment, thank you. Anyway, so I'm sorry, but Sean, you'd have to drive down, train, and then drive back. It's just one of them terrible things. And so many of my customers do that. But I've got to be honest with people, and I've got to do it the way they're asking us to do it, because I'd hate something to happen. I would never forgive myself if something happened to anybody. Bollocks to Jew. There you go. Bollocks to Jew. Thank you, everyone. That's so nice of you. And, you know, he has taken his time and done that for everybody. And you know what? He's quite a reserved chap. But I say to him, thank you very much indeed, because we appreciate people like you. We appreciate people like you. It's like Charlie Tango 1. Now he's got his frigging yacht. He's never on here, is he? Charlie Tango 1, Ray, Super Ray. He's never on here now. See, he only makes elite stuff for the sort of Karen Evans sort of gang. Now I've been watching it. He doesn't sort of come on here anymore. Ray, Charlie Tango 1. Do you know why? Because he's got his frigging yacht in the harbour. He's got his Bentley outside. We've fed him so well. He's not hungry anymore. He's a lovely chap, Ray. He's an absolute cracker. Racist? No, he's not. He's patriotic. Is that what you can say? But he's so funny. He's so funny. Richard Goad, oh dear. What the freaking oh dear? Barry, try raw feeding, Chris. What the frick are they on about? I use a Acme whistle because I know it always consistent and easy to purchase. Another one, same if you look at it. Exactly. And at the end of the day, how many whistles have you gone through, Karen? How many whistles have you gone through since you've had dogs? How many whistles have you actually bit through the top? If I could find my freaking whistle, it's here somewhere. Oh, I don't know where it is. I think it's on the kitchen table out there, on the conservatory table. Sue could go and get it if she wanted to, but me whistle, is it? Honestly, see what she said? For God's sake. Years ago, they never used to answer back, did they? Because you could take a stick to them. Years ago, you could have a certain diameter of a stick, and you could take it to your wife or your girlfriend if she give you shit. These days, you can't do that. Now they argue with you.
Careful.
Be careful, she says. So there you go. I'm going to show you, everyone. See the teeth? See the marks on the top of that whistle there? Look, that's that ridge. That's not supposed to be there. It's because we hold it there in our mouth. So when we talk, you can hear me as well as instant. I've got the whistle in my mouth. How many people, I say, stop your dog, and they go, and then they go, it's like 15 seconds too late. And yet you sit there with the whistle in your mouth. You got to learn to talk with it. But I just automatically hold that in my teeth, between my teeth. So it'll sit there and I can talk roughly. But see, that's whistling now. I never freaking whistled in my life. It must be the whiskey. But if you want to sterilize your whistle, everyone, a good tip for anybody, whiskey. Right, that's a good dog training tip. Right, okay. Sterilize. Right, I'm on whiskey on the rocks at the moment. I'm trying to cut back on the whiskey by having ice with it, because I'm trying to lose some weight. Andy Stead, thank you, you bastard. Anyway, try raw feeding, Chris. What, me? Barry?
Actually, talking about your whistle,
That's what Botox does. I don't do Botox, you bastards. My head's that big, the skin's stretched round it.
Sweetheart.
Baywatch, Chris. Yeah, Baywatch. I love Baywatch. I used to like Baywatch. Can't watch Baywatch now. Go on then, Sue. Sweetheart, she says.
Talking about whistle, did you answer that Olsen Trainers one?
See what I'm saying? See what I've got to live with in the background? Osin Trainer. Who the frick's Osin Trainer?
I have a Springer dog that is trained on a 210.5 whistle, and I have a lab pup. Should I train it on a different whistle?
Listen. What's that sound there, everyone? Can you see it? No, you can't see it. It says 210.5. I've just had a look. 210.5. There was an old saying that a lot of good dog trainers have forgot more than they've learned. And that's the problem. People ask me, well, you're not explaining it enough, Chris. You're not explaining it well enough. I think, well, what aren't I explaining? And then I think, well, yeah, perhaps not everybody understands lead work. Not everyone understands heel work. Penny, she does me head in with this name, Dizziness. She does me head in because she's called Penny, right? But she came down here and she showed you heel work because she does a lot of heel work and she wants it to be nice and clean. And it was a lovely video for everybody to watch who wanted just to teach the dog with the lead in the right area, how she does it, how she moves forward with it. And it was a lovely video and it got wiped out. And I think to myself, what a shame that video got wiped out, because I don't teach lead work like obedience trainers. Because to me, as long as the dog's at my side, that's all I want him. I went out today chopping down trees and dragging him into my rabbit pen, and I took Wiz out, and Wiz came with me all the way. I dragged the trees all the way back down, ran around all the way back. But every time I came back to pick up more trees, he came to my heel automatically. Not because I told him, because he loves being with me. Everything is done through me. The freedom comes through me. So my dogs are off lead more than they're on lead. But from one drive to another drive on a shoot, I put them on a lead. Then I don't have a problem. But could I keep the lead off and they stay at my side? Yes. But I put them on a lead. It's just automatic. But I don't put them on a lead all the time. But if I was going to teach pets, I was a pet trainer, go and watch a pet trainer teach how to put a dog on a lead. I'm talking about getting the natural ability out of the dog and getting the best out of the dog. But I could go down to the very basics of this is a lead. This is a right way and a wrong way of putting a lead on. This way it slips and doesn't release, and this way it releases. But guess what? I use the lead back to front sometimes, because if I'm giving discipline, I don't want the dog slipping out that lead. So I want it tightening up around the dog. Some people would say, oh, that's terrible. But what I'm showing you is I'm showing you how I get the best out of my dogs. If you like what you see with my dogs, then you train the way I show you. If you ask me a question and go, I don't want that much drive, Chris, that frightens me, I will tell you exactly what to do not to have that drive. It's simple, not simply. I'm simple, simply. Honestly, I've tried to weaken down the whiskey. See what she said? See what she said? The wine didn't bloody help before you started. We had tea early. You can't have tea without wine. Honestly, there's people dropping dead and they've never experienced life. Go out and experience life before you drop dead, for Christ's sake. You're honest and you're real and approachable and funny and great compliment. I like you as
company.
Great company. Compliment, she says, but it's compliment.
Yeah, but it auto-checked it, didn't it? So
compliment. It's great compliment. There's great company. I like you as it is. Thank you, Pen. And do you know what? I'd rather people like me for what I am than pretending I'm not. You know, I can be fiery when I have to be fiery. I can be direct when I have to be direct. I can be so gentle and honest and kind when I have to be kind. But none of us are freaking perfect, for Christ's sake. None of us. And anybody who pretends they are perfect, you're talking out your backside. Stop ripping people off. You know, stop pulling wool over people's eyes. I used to like Piers Morgan, and I still like him in some ways, but he's become too himself, isn't he? It's all for him. It's not for the cause. You know, and I like people who are outspoken. I like people who speak from the mind, whether they're right or whether they're wrong. I still like them for speaking from the mind. So, answer that question for you, Sean. Sorry about that, everyone. I'm just look at my eyes. I'm really tired. You know why? Sue kept me up all night last night.
But can you answer Liam Henderson's question now, please?
Honestly, I'm just worn out.
Because you're about half an hour.
Half an hour. She said, remember our honeymoon? She said, when you fell asleep. Well, I worked all freaking day. I drove all the way to the Isle of Wight. Isle of Man? Isle of Wight. Yeah, I forget where we had her. Raced into this hotel, went for dinner, had a bit to drink, and fell to freaking sleep on me freaking stag night.
Stag stag night, wedding night, dear, wedding night.
Wedding night. Stag night was all right. Stag night was fine. Wedding night. And she said, "You're not going to do that to me again, are you?" This is what she said to me. Disgraceful, isn't it, eh?
Right, can we answer Liam Henderson's question? Because the poor lad's been waiting nearly over half an hour.
Liam Henderson, can I say...
No, can I use get out for a left-hand signal or right-hand signal, or do I have to change the word?
Hang on. All I've got is, can I say get out for a left-hand signal?
Yes, because 13 minutes ago, he actually put the whole thing up.
Okay, Liam, we're going to go back up and try and find that because Sue's waffling in the background somewhere. So I'm going back up because I've got no times, everyone here, just to let you know. I'm looking for a guy called Liam. Not found it yet, but never mind, still looking. I'm still looking, honestly. I've seen so much on here. Right, I can't find it. So Sue's going to have to read it out, isn't she?
Can
Loud, please, loud.
I am loud.
No, you're not loud.
Can I use get out for a left-hand signal or right-hand signal, or do I have to change the word?
No. If you've got... The problem is, my left to your left on camera is going to be different. It's confusing because I'm dyslexic. So say I was going to hold my hand there. I want the dog to sit up, and I want to push the dog out this way. It would go from there, and I would go, get out. From there, I use that hand, not that hand, and I'd go, get out. So if I had the gun in my hand, and I was the gun was under this shoulder, right, I would bring the gun out, and I'd use the hand and push it across because I'm directing the dog. I wouldn't normally be wanting to have a loaded gun. So the gun would be broken and I'd send the dog. So I would say, get out. Now, some people go left, go right. I don't, right? You do what you want to do in life. But if I sit a dog up 30 feet out and I throw a dummy to the left and I throw a dummy to the right, it's to do with the movement. So the movement has to be, you could say, get on, but no, because when I want them to go back, I would go, get out. They know get out means get out. If they're sitting at my side and I line them up, I go, get out, and they would go out. So if I want them to go left or right, I use exactly the same command because I've shortened it to the most basic thing. You don't need to overcomplicate it. I wouldn't go left, go right, because your dog's sitting the other side. And if you think of it, when you say go left, he's going right. It's confusing. But people do that. But no, I don't. So good question. But no, I wouldn't. So you can be Liam Henderson. So you can been to a gander, and he says I have to use different words, but I want to do it your way. Liam Henderson. So you can to be again. What?
Hang on, I'm trying to find it way down there.
Okay. So you can.
You can be
to a beginner. Is that a gainer? I don't know. Dogs are smart. They go on visual. Exactly. So there you go. Look, Penny knows that, and she's not a gun dog trainer. You're going on a visual.
Trainer. So he's been to a trainer, and he says I have to use different words.
Well, I'm sorry, Liam. You've got to make a decision. Unfortunately, there's so many trainers out there who don't have a clue, and as soon as I say it, I create enemies, don't I? And this is why I sometimes wonder what the frig I'm doing. Simple as that. I wonder whether I'm wasting my time. And yet, 3.5 million views. I have so much good feedback. That's what keeps me going. The good feedback. The negative feedback makes me think, do I just switch the whole freaking lot off? Because that's what that Jonas Black was on about. He actually said that he was having suicidal thoughts with all the pressure he was under. And I contacted someone in private and said, listen, lay off this guy, because he may be coming across as full of himself and he's confident, but I don't think mentally he's coping with this very well. So just leave him alone, please, because you don't know how people can be triggered. You don't know how people are on the edge. But I'm glad that Jonas mentioned that in that live feed, because I wouldn't have mentioned it in public if he'd not mentioned it. And the reason why, it's personal. I was speaking to the guy in private, and I could see the guy was affected with what was happening to him. He was being attacked, and his method of training was being attacked. And I think that we have a right to critique people's videos. You have a right to freaking look at it and learn from it. But there's a limit. And I've seen it firsthand with my darling wife. Why do we need to live with this shit when I'm strong enough to stand up for this and say, bollocks to you, I don't give a shit what you say about me? But when I see my wife being dragged down by it and it bothers her, and she goes, oh no, not another argument. Oh, please don't go there. Please don't go there. It's because of how it affected her in the past. And that's why I've mentioned that about Jonas. I like Jonas. Tattoos, rock t-shirt, speak to his mind. I didn't agree with him always, but he had to come off media. Why? Because it put too much pressure on him. It was splitting up his relationship. It was splitting up his mental state. And he said he's far better coming off the media. And he did a live feed, and I haven't heard from him for 6 months, roughly 6 months. So what I'm saying to you all is, you don't know what we go through by standing up for what we believe in life. And yes, I'm opinionated. It's simple as that. You can't take that away from me. That's me. I'll always be that. But do you just back off and say nothing and just get on with training the way you train? Or do you try and educate people and saying, listen, this guy is a good trainer. I rate this trainer. This guy, if you ask me that question, no, I don't really rate him, but don't make me quote too much about him, because I don't want to be personal. This is why it's so important. So I kiss him. Lion. Is that okay? Right. See that? I have a dog and he hates my cat. So I kiss him. Is that okay? Could you do me a favor? Could you just take that freaking idiot off here? Lion 876, right? Could you just, one of you moderators, could you just block him? Right? Because this is what I have to deal with on a regular basis. I can't be arsed with it. Just that's it. Well done, Karen. I mean, you enjoyed that, Karen, didn't you? You got your first one there, boy. Well done, Karen. He's popped his cherry. That's funny, everyone. Well done, Karen. Thank you for that. No problem. Bang. And that's what it's about, everyone. That's what it's about. I speak to people in private so much because I don't talk about personal things in private. Good one, Karen. Lion sleeps tonight. Cat nap for the lion. Well done. And that's the whole point, because that could be the Robert Elaine with his gang. I don't know. I'm not interested. I just can't be asked for him. Look, Andy, you're a bit freaking late, Andy. He's dead. You're a bit late, mate. 300 seconds. He was done by Karen. Karen stepped in. Honestly, my security is so freaking slow. He wasn't rude, was he? He's just being a dick, wasn't he? So, bye-bye, Dick. Peter Piper the Lion King catnap. Dick. Good one. There you go. And that's what I'm on about, everyone. I don't need that shit. If you don't like what you listen to, don't listen to it. As simple as that. You cruel cats. Cruel to cats now, Karen. This is a dog show, not for lions.
Right, there's a couple questions.
Okay, Susan's going to keep going on to me about questions. She wants me to answer questions.
Oh, I'm trying to find them.
Now she's trying to find them, everyone. It's getting harder, this is.
Hang on. Let's go back a bit.
Bang, bang, gone for good.
It was 20 past there.
My dog don't like cats, don't worry.
Right, there's two you need to answer.
Susan's going for it.
Right, David Sweetman, what's the best way to build drive in an older dog that has never done any gun dog training? He will run after a tennis ball, but generally will not bring it back and is easily distracted.
Well, the only question I've got for me of David Sweetman is, take your teeth out, you won't mark the whistle. They don't come out yet, David. Still got my own teeth, thank Christ. I can't put them in a glass. Go on, read that David's comment again, then we'll answer it. Go on.
What's the best way to build drive in an older dog that has never done any gun dog training? He will run after a tennis ball, but generally will not bring it back and is easily distracted.
Well, why? How old's your dog, David, to start with?
That's one thing he hasn't said.
And you haven't said. And at the end of the day, does it really matter if you've accepted it and you've allowed it? Does it really matter? Can you teach an old dog new tricks? Of course you can. But if you set the mindset and the dog just more interested in what it wants to do, Upton's Caravan is 100 times cleaner than the Primark pen. Primark pen? I don't understand that, but yeah.
Primark pen.
What does that mean?
Shop, Primark pen. Pen is Dizzy, so talking about.
Well, yeah, but oh yeah, because Dizzy never used the Caravan, did she? No. She wasn't going to share a bed with freaking 16 other blokes.
But there's another one, just in case that David does get back to it. But Jack Klinsky, hi Cousin. So, what is the best method to promote a contact flush?
Best. That's a good question. That is. That's a question. Read it out again, Susan.
What is the best method to promote a contact flush?
To let the dog push through the retrieve rather than blowing the whistle too soon. So what happens is dog comes across a bird. As soon as they get in a flush, the flapping of the wings, people blow the stop whistle. I understand. The timing is so fine. But if you allow a dog to go in and bang it out hard, you have that what we call a contact flush. So what we're looking for is as the dog goes in, it goes bang, and out goes the bird, and the dog's followed through really, and then you blow the stop whistle. The idea is if you see movement, and we've done this before, I've done this in an 8-panel judge's pen years and years ago in Scotland. He had a field trial winner for sale, and my mate has bought loads of them over the years and tried to get him to the championship, and he was looking for a quick shortcut. So we went all the way an extra 200 miles further up in Scotland to see this judge, 8-panel judge, and we were in a rabbit pen. And in the rabbit pen, if anyone can tell me this, I have told this story before, so if anyone can tell me this judge's name, I'll give him a squirrel skin. If they can tell me this judge's name. Let's see how sharp you are now, because I've told this story before. And he took us in his rabbit pen, and he said, can we have a look at this dog? He says, yeah, what's for sale? So he brought this dog in the rabbit pen, and there was a big white rabbit. And as soon as the rabbit moved, the dog stopped. And the dog was hunting, but as soon as the rabbit moved, the dog stopped. Well, the rabbit sat tight in the cover. So he said, well, he hasn't flushed it. He said, well, no, he didn't flush it. It moved. He's got to stop when it moves. Well, if you train that way, then you have a dog that we call sticky. So he said, well, not being funny, if that's a field trial winner and as soon as it sees movement, he said, it's supposed to stop as soon as it sees movement. Okay, fine. So he said, we've got better in the car. And he said, well, if you've got better in the car, let's see it. So my mate says, yeah, Chris, go and get your dog. So I had a field trial winner in the car, bitch. So I brought the field trial winning bitch out, and there's the rabbit in a cover. And I went like that, and she hit the cover with such drive. She smashed into the back of this rabbit, caught the back end of its fur, blew the stop whistle. Rabbit bolted, just a mouthful of fur. He went, Jesus Christ, how did you teach her to do that? And I turned around, looked at my mate. He looked at me. It's like, and you're the 8-panel judge. Now, if anyone can tell me what that 8-panel judge's name is, I'll give you a rabbit skin, because I have mentioned that story before. Was it Billy Steele? Peter Piper's trying. No, it wasn't. It was not Billy Steele. It was a spaniel man.
While they're trying to work out what it is,
Jay.
David came.
Hang on, Jay. In the video the other day, Chris, when you asked Dougie to sit and kept moving, is that for any reason in particular? Is it just pushing boundaries, or is it another reason? Hang on. I'm going to read this one again, Jay. In the video the other day, when you asked Dougie to sit and he kept moving, is that for any reason in particular? Well, what do you mean? I don't know what you mean. If he kept moving...
Is he just pushing boundaries?
Is he just pushing boundaries? Yeah, he's pushing boundaries. He's got to learn. Or is it any other reason? No, he's just pushing boundaries, and he got to learn, and that's why I had to put the long line on him. I had to teach him. But he's been looking at me to go back out there and do that again. Why? Because of the food. He wants the food. Guess what I've done? I've played hard to get. I've played hard to get on purpose. He's been out once since that day with the same conditioning with the food, and he was so much better. But he went on the long line because he wasn't listening off the long line. He was pushing boundaries. So that's why I put him back on the long line, and I corrected him on the long line for that reason, Jay. Okay, Susan, go on.
And David, for that dog that he had, old dog.
2 years old.
2 years old. He got him as a rescue at 10 months, and he's new to the training. So it's just
right, David. So tell me, David, what dog was it, Susan?
God.
See what I mean? See what I mean? See what I mean? She's trying. Honestly, she's like a secretary who's useless. Sorry. See? Enjoy the process.
It just said best way to build driving an older dog. I've never done any gun dog training. So
right. So what sort of dog is it, David? I mean, without these questions, it's so difficult. And I'm not being pedantic here. It's so difficult because if it's a collie, you know, you could be on a different kettle of fish. You've got to play a different game with a collie because of the mindset. If it's a terrier, is it a gun dog? Have you taken on a dog that's 2 years old and got him as a rescue at 10 months old? You know, what sort of dog is it? Because if it's a pointer, he might not have the same drive as retrieving as you can get into a Springer. You know, they vary so much, and so a little bit of information. It would be stupid of me to give advice on here, because I could say 2-year-old dog, what is it? You know, it's going to be completely different. And so it's not trying to, like I say, be pedantic with you, but that's where more information, the more I can answer this in an honest, open way, because it would be so easy to say, oh, I can put the drive into every dog. Some dogs don't have that drive, haven't got that capability of wanting to retrieve, and it depends what the lifestyle of the dog has had before. So sometimes you've got to go backwards to go forwards. But can you teach a 2-year-old dog? That's not an old dog. That's not an old dog. Sometimes I wouldn't even touch a dog till he's 12 months old, 13 months old. I wouldn't even start real training, but I've still built up a foundation with the dog. So, you know, you got him at rescue at 10 months old. I'm new to this training. You've got him at 10 months old. Now he's 2 years old. Why have you allowed to do nothing? Because you're new at the game. I understand, but it all depends. So you're going to have to give me a little bit more information, and then I'll answer your question. No problem at all. Right. So we've got 28 likes and 57 thumbs up. Mr. Randall. No, it's not Mr. Randall. Irma Thud. Yes, Richard Gold. Irma Thud. You today are the winner of... No, it's not. Irma Thud. David Lissett. Bugs Bunny. What's up, Doc? Oh, you've been listening to me, some of you. It's Chris Silston. No, it's not. Rabbit Delane. Good one, Stephen. Good one. Michael Larkin.
Oh, what a shame.
No, it's a shame, really, isn't it? Because it just shows how much you freaking listen, you bastards.
No.
I've actually spoke about his book before. And I'll tell you what I do. As a gambling man, if I get the name of the person within 30 seconds when I name the book, right, then I'll still honor the bet.
Victoria Stillwell.
30 seconds. And I know one of you bastards will cheat. Working Springers and Cockers. Victoria Stillwell. Peter Nixon. Peter Moxon. Moxon, not Nixon. I know you'll just freaking Google it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Do we say 30 seconds?
30 seconds. I knew that for a while, so finish.
That's it then. You lost it. Come on then. Come on. Let's have some clever bastard who's Googled it. Come on. Let's have some clever bastard who's Googled it. Keith. No, it's not Keith. Not Moxton. Come on. Honestly, you lot.
They don't know.
It's one of the best books. One of the best books out there for reference material if you want to go through and look at champions. I've told you this before. I've showed you the book. I've talked about the book. You lot are I'm honestly,
disappointed.
I'm very disappointed.
Yeah.
Back to school. Honestly, two meters apart, you lot. Honestly, I told you before. I don't rate his training, but as a reference book, absolutely fantastic book. And I say it the way it is, everybody. Come on. How long is that going to take you to frigging work out? I just told you the title of the book. Keith Ernison, Ian Openshaw. No! Ian Openshaw's never written a book in his life.
Did you read
David? No, it's not David.
Did you read Peter Taylor's question about Jax?
Jax did a contact for us today with a cockbird in long grass, but carried on about 5 meters until he came to a stop. Should I have took him back to the spot where he flushed? Yes, Peter, definitely with that dog. Definitely with that dog. That dog with that drive. Grab hold of him, bring him back below the stop whistle in his face, because you don't want that to be going into 10 meters and 15 meters. But 5 meters ain't too bad. But it means there was a fantastic opportunity to correct the dog. This is what they were saying the other day about, you know, you got to put dogs, you got to let dogs go wrong to make them go right. It's as simple as that. You've got to allow a dog to go wrong to put it right. And you'll get the idiots going, I don't believe what he does. He allows the dog to go wrong to put it right. Well, if you protect it, overprotect it, and you never put it in a situation, when it goes wrong, you can't correct it. Go on then. Sue's laughing her freaking head off, you lot.
No, it's just Richard Gould. He's gone every name.
Martin Dealey.
Every time. He's gone for every name.
Freaking honestly, you lot. You honestly. Come on. Come on. I had a rabbit skin. It cost me £5 to send it to you. It cost me £5. Look at all the work that blinking, honestly, our man does. I mean, honestly. How often do we do a prize and give it away? You've got to earn it. You're useless, you lot. Shall I go and get the book for you? Because I tell you what.
None of us won it.
None of you won it. You're having a freaking laugh. I'll go and get the book for you. All right? I'll get the book for you. Matt Krug. Evening, Matt. You kept quiet, didn't you? I'll tell you what. Matt's a freaking boy, isn't he? He sits back. He doesn't say much, but he freaking learns. Honestly. Honestly, you lot. Okay. Chris is getting the book. Don't tell me I haven't shown it you. You'll go, oh, bloody hell. I forgot. You know, if you Googled it or you went on eBay, you'd find it straight away. It's called Working Springers and Cockers. And the name, Peter Taylor, glad you said that, because that's what he did. Just looked at me, and I was sure he said, Peter Taylor, glad you said that. That's because that's what I did. Just looked at me, and I'm sure he was, if that's what you've got, fat boy. Exactly, Peter. Exactly. Because it's like when your adrenaline's up, when you're in the bedroom and you're performing, you know, she can do certain things to you that you're going to find attractive and sexual. But if she did it when you weren't performing and you weren't in that high drive, it's going to hurt, right? That's the easiest way I can explain it, right? So while the dog is in high drive, you can give discipline. The dog's not going to resent it. It's going to learn from it. Barbara Woodhouse. No, I've never fancied Barbara Woodhouse, honestly. To be honest with you, Ben, I've never fancied Barbara Woodhouse. No. She was like one of my fucking school teachers. She was. Chris, what do you think of the Italian Gundogs and their breeding? Listen, stick to gangster films. Bracco Italiano. E bombo, Bracco Italiano. Haha, Penny. You beat me to it. What does Penny say? Come on, there's got to be something. Oh, right. Well done, Alan Lowe's. But unfortunately, you're too freaking late. But well done. Alan Lowe's nailed you all there. Look. Mike Smith. Well done, Mike Smith. And the reason that I love this book, it's one of them books that I've kept, is because at the back, it gives you a rundown of some of the personalities of the field trial world, and it's the old boys, the old school. And it's quite in depth, and I found it absolutely fantastic. There isn't a book out there that gives you that in depth of other trainers and snippets of what they feel. But when you look at the back of the book, there's our man. Look, there's our man. Look at him. Look. Keith Erlington. Look, and Audrey. Look. When you look at the back of the book, he talks about Lawton Evans here. Absolutely fantastic trainer. But he goes back to some real old stuff. Well, Silglin's not that old, but I mean, if he heard me, he'd laugh. John Holloway's not that old, but good dog trainers of their time. And Ron Looms stuff there. Look, anyway, so if you go, Victor McDivitt, look, Irish judge, look, for you Irish boys. I wrote an article in the Shooting Times about a bitch that won the championship. And they said she should never have won the championship because she, what she did, and she didn't do this, and it was unfair, and it wasn't this. And Victor McDivitt was the first person to ever come on the Shooting Times and actually make a statement of what happened in the trial. And I take my hat off to him for that, because if you're a judge and there's controversy about a championship, then perhaps you should come forward and say what you feel. And I thought it was fantastic. And Keith Erlington contacted me and said, "You've set a precedence, Chris. You've made a judge actually come forward." Well, I don't think I did. I asked the question, if you'd won the championship, would you be happy if they were slagging your dog off? Because if I won the championship, I'd be over the freaking moon. It's not the guy who won the championship, it's the judges, isn't it? What did the judges see that the spectators didn't see? And sometimes what the spectators see isn't always what the judges have seen. And I can explain that in many a way through trialing, but until you've trialed and you've understood the concept of what you see always isn't quite what you see. For instance, I ran an open stake, dog hunted like a demon, punched a bird out of this small coppice, and it went out into the field, and they shot it out in the field. It came down and come down hard and hit the ground. And the judge waited a couple of seconds and then to make sure the dog was steady, and then said, "Send your dog." And this was that bent bastard, Chris Thilson Walnuff. And he said, "Send your dog." So I sent my dog, and as he raced out across the field, and he marked it to a T, so I knew he didn't need to handle him. He was gone. He was flying out to the point. And he was so determined to get through this coppice. As he was getting through the coppice, the bird picked up and ran like a stag down the field 150 yards and come back into the wood. So I had to stop the dog 30 feet out when he knew the bird was another 40 feet out. So I stopped the dog. He spun around and said, "What, you twat? I've seen it." And I went, "No, leave that, get out." And I pushed him out onto the line, and he took the line of the bird all the way down through the wood. It was spectacular. Spectacular. The whole gallery were watching. And he went back into the woods, and it seemed like an eternity. It was only 5 minutes, and there was birds taking off everywhere. And I'm thinking, oh shit. And it was like an eternity, and like everything had slowed down in time. And then all of a sudden he come back up through the freaking wood and back out into the field with a cockbird, and it was a cockbird that was shot. And he comes strutting up the field, and I'm thinking, you freaking beauty. We've won this. We've won this outright. It's open stake. And I had my first run, and I had a beautiful first run. This was my second run. And the judge said, when I went, "Get out, get out. Leave that, get out." He went, "You've got a good set of lungs on you, mate." And you know, I thought, you fucking flash bastard, but never mind. Anyway, come back up, and I was chuffed as hell. Honestly, I was like fucking, I was like, oh, I was the cock of the ute. I was cock of the ute. And guess what happens? As he come back, he handed it to me. The dog did. Went, "I got the bird, Dad." And I was just so chuffed. I was like, I've won this on ice. And then the judge opened the wings of this bird and spun it round and opened the wings up wide. The bird was still alive. And he looked at this bird, and he flicked it over, and he went, "This isn't the cockbird that was shot in the field." I went, "What?" He went, "This wasn't the cockbird that was shot in the field. The bird that was shot in the field was a Michigan blueback. And do you know what? That bent bastard was right. He was dead right. It was a Michigan blueback, and this wasn't. The dog had picked another bird down in the woods that was shot earlier. It was a wounded bird. So he sent me down again. And I went down the wood, pushed him back down, beautiful. He searched the wood out. There was birds taking off everywhere. Couldn't find it. Come back up. Brought the other dog across from the other side. Tried that dog on it. He didn't get it. Judges went down there, didn't find it. Came back. I didn't win the trial. As I went back to the gallery, they're all going, well done, Chris. Well done. You've won that. Well done, Lolly. You've won that. But guess what? They didn't see what happened. I did. The judge did. That was good judging from a bent bastard. But it was good judging. You can't take that away from the guy, because it was a Michigan blueback, and he opened my eyes, because I remember it tumbling. When they shot it, it tumbled, and I remember it seeing it was a blueback. So he'd seen that. That was his skill as an A-panel judge. Now, an A-panel judge who was there said, well, I'm telling you, mate, if I send you for a fucking cockbird and it comes back with a cockbird, I'm going to give you the advantage you come back with a cockbird. Technically, he's wrong, isn't he? If it's a Michigan blueback and that was what the bird was shot, and you sent your dog down for it, and he come back with a Michigan blueback. But he said, how the freaking hell can you define which bird it was? Well, I saw it. He saw it. So there you go. Frank Casey. Hi, Chris. This is True Springer's popularity in decline regarding shooting times last week. Would like to know your opinion, Chris. Love the show. Bollocks. Do you know what? Frank? I think we've lost the sport for the idiots. The idiots are running the asylum. It's as simple as that. Does it make you popular? No. Does it make you? Because I've criticised local people in this local area over the years, I've been shut out. I've been shut out of the inner circles because I'm too outspoken. But if people don't stand up and say it, Frank, then we ain't getting nowhere. We're not going to change it. But people are beginning to see that we have the media. We have a platform where we can have some power. Before, they could just shut you out of it. As simple as that. Robert Jeffrey says, Chris, look at 22112. I have half a squirrel skin.
Yeah, you just put Mike.
Mike, yeah, half a squirrel skin. Mike, yeah, well done, boy. Well done. So that was a great question, Frank. But spruce finger's population declined regarding shooting times last week. Chris, is it true? Springer's population declined regarding shooting times last week. And I think that the cockers have come in and they've taken over. And I saw a thing the other day where someone's asking nearly £3,000 for a cocker. £3,000 for a cocker pot. It's just becoming stupid. It's just pricing it out of the market. And yet they're very, very popular, aren't they? Cockers. Do I like cockers more than springers? I've been honest with people. I think there's some wonderful little cockers, and the little spirits and the little temperaments they've got is fantastic. And you get a good one, you get a real good one sometimes. But you're going to go through quite a bit more before you get a decent one. Not worth £3. Exactly. Shooting times. Earthbound pheasant. I agree with you, mate. I agree with you. Not worth the £3 you spend on. Because do you know what? They like to create a little bit of controversy, the same as Townsend, isn't it? David Tomlinson. They like to just rock the boat a little bit, but they don't want to push the boat too much that they get pushed out. And that's what happens. If you push the boat too much, you get pushed out and nobody wants to let you back in. And Keith Ellison wrote about it years and years ago in an article, and it was called The Inner and Outer Circles. And you get sent to infinity and beyond. And this was before freaking Buzz Lightyear. You know, if you upset the trial world, that's what they'll do. They'll send you to infinity and beyond. And that's what they did to Keith Ellison. And that was the biggest injustice, I think. I've got to go. Goodbye, Dizzy Lizzy. Nice being here. Thank you. So what I was just go back to, because we've gone into 1 hour, 24 minutes, and we're supposed to only be here for an hour. There you go. Look, this is reference. Look to the champions, and the last 30 or 40 pages is about the champions in cockers, springers, the championship winners, where they were bred, when they were, who bred them. And I just think as a reference material and the research that he went into, that he built up. Look at my hands, absolutely battered from working in the field. I'm a farmer now. I've got my own land. Like I say, the reference material that Mike Smith put into this book was stunning, was absolutely stunning. And I bought this book, and I'm just going to do it quickly, but there's Mike Smith's phone number. And at the end of the day, I bought this book when we went up there to see this dog all them years ago from Mike. I said, can I buy your book from you, Mike? And I was so impressed with the research material that he put into that book, but I wasn't impressed with his dog training. Now, am I being a bitch? No, I'm being totally honest. And that's why it's important. So there you go, everyone. Oh, here we go. Sorry, I had to go out of the room. Freaking honestly, what do you think I am, Richard? I had to go out of the room. What book was it? By who?
You've just shown him, didn't you?
Honestly. Jay Brooker's Message Retracted.
Yeah, he said Doug, you'll be in that book one day. In your dreams, right?
Thank Crazy. Thanks, Scripps. Keep up the good work. Right, you bastards. Bollocks to the lot of you. 28 likes and only 50 of you watching me. You stuck with me for an extra half hour.
He said he'll have to pay fortune for it printed. You certainly will, Joe.
Eh?
Jay says he'll have to pay a fortune to have it printed, though. You're right.
So, bollocks to you all. Thanks very much for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed this evening. I don't think I've been on form this evening, to be honest with you. I don't think I've been on form. I think I've been so pissed off with this world that we live in, where people can't get on and just fucking be humans with each other, instead of, you know, things happened years ago that we just got to fucking move on and move forward. And I don't know, perhaps I'm watching too much internet. Perhaps I'm taking it to heart too much. I've got some very, very good friends from all walks of life. And I think if you're decent with each other, you can support each other. And I say bollocks to everybody, because bollocks to me means good one. Enjoy yourselves. Thank you for joining. And thank you, Julian Lees, for coming in. Great to see you in here. Thanks for all your nice comments. I love the bollocks. Sue loves bollocks as well. Anyway, on that note, that was a joke, but that's my sense of humor. Sick sometimes. They do say you think about sex every 10 seconds. Every 5 seconds.
Well, mine's 10 seconds, but 5 seconds.
She said she wouldn't mind 10 seconds, but not 5 seconds. Not every 5 seconds. Good night, darling Sue. Sue, you. Good night, all. Please stay safe and take care. And bollocks to you all. Ooh, she's getting brave, isn't she? Good night, everyone. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the entertainment. What do you think?